Okay. Okay, I think we're live. Yes. Okay. So hi everyone, and welcome to this live. Tonight's a very, very unusual time for me, as normally I host my live in the morning, but this is a special event, and I have a special guest that I will introduce you in a moment. So for those who don't know me, my name is Angela Santi, and I'm a business coach helping rebellious and ambitious leaders maximize their business results while still having a life, even during this uncertain time. This is possible. This is possible. It's a choice. And we are actually experiencing crazy times. I'm in Italy now, and Christina, tonight's guest, Christina Wessendorf, is in Germany. And we were talking, the other day, confronting ourselves as to the measure that countries are taking, against COVID. And we both agreed that this situation, this measure in the attempt to contain the pandemic, are generating a side effect, which is more and more isolation, physical and also spiritual and emotional isolation of people, even in their own country. And moreover, we're noticing that people walk around the street and look at each other in a suspicious way, as if the other one, is the one with the virus. So, okay, relationships are very, very difficult and have changed. So I decided to invite Christina to talk about how to stop feeling lonely, which is the general feeling now, and disconnected from yourself and from your country and from the people you love, and start living at your full potential even during this pandemic. So welcome again, Christina.
Thank you.
Okay, hi, welcome. And please, Christina, introduce yourself and maybe tell us where we met, and also tell us what you are doing exactly and why.
Yeah, so we would not do this interview just by accident, right? Because we both has already a very special connection, even though we never met in person. Like this is one of the examples that you are connecting with a person on a deeper level. Like having the same idea of life and the same rhythm and just the drive forward for business, for a bigger purpose. So I want to encourage everybody that this person who's understanding what you're doing and really, like all kinds of you and your craziness is totally existing out there, even online at this time. And we connected in a business training, in a business event, and we don't stop connecting. Like we are just continuing to the next training and are on the journey together, even though we never met, right? And so, yeah, my name is Christina, and I'm supporting intercultural peacemaker, means expats, repats who recently moved back to the home countries because they want to support their families, maybe, right? And everybody who feel called to something bigger and they really want to feel home in peace anywhere where they live. And this is one of the points to feel home, in my experience, is to meet people who just supporting you and your mission. This is what I'm doing very shortly.
Yeah, right. And this is so important. And Christina, I know your story, and I know you were an expat yourself for a long time, but at the beginning of your story, things weren't so working so great and so good for you. So can you tell us what happened and what was the turning point for you?
Well, I guess you are mentioning my Edu experience, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So well, for everybody out there who is living now day by day, right? Because you don't know what happened, because the rules are changing, because you don't know if your job, like the company is surviving or not, or when you're independent and maybe a coach out there, you are just really struggling also with this. What is going tomorrow? Like, will I still have people signing up for the program I planned, right? And so I can totally relate to this part, and I relate to the part where you are feeling so disconnected. So I had a time in my life like 3 years ago where I decided to move to Egypt. And I had two kind of reasons. The first reason was like everybody understood I met a man and I wanted to build a life with him. And there was a deeper vision even behind. And somehow my inner voice told me, you need to go to North Africa. No matter what country, but you need to go. So there was two levels. And when I arrived there, um, I unfortunately focused only on the things on the outside circumstances to make me happy. What maybe a lot of us, right, feeling they have no control over Corona right now, no control of the people who are signing up or not. And this can make you very crazy. And I remember sitting in an apartment, no lights because I just arrived there. I had like nobody in this apartment. I was alone. It was empty. It was big. And when the sun went down, it was totally dark. And I remembering that, the man I wanted to build a life with still was not sure if we had the same life vision. And it was a bit late, right, to see that. And
Definitely.
right? And I, every day, I hoped that he will come along. And I put all my happiness in his moves and his decisions. And I really went crazy. And it came up that I was blaming him for not doing the right things, that, he is like, for I was putting all my power out, and I felt like I had no control and I was just living by the grace of the outside. And so, like, the big turn, or one of the turning points, was that I started to understand that, um, I started to communicate with these fears inside of me, this inner fights, because I started to hate myself when I was blaming and putting all control up, and I started to make myself small. And one of the turning points was when I started to understood. I went into a coaching program, what's called Living from Vision, part of the Peacemaker program, and I communicated with my fears and I understood the love message behind. Means, Angela, right? For everything what we are doing and pivoting right now, there is a learning lesson behind. And this learning lesson, then it starts to feel like this curiosity comes back. This, oh, this is all meant for something good for me. And we were getting back into that not everybody hates us, or not, we are not failing because we don't find a job, or we are not like, right, we are not doing all the mistakes, and we're right, but it's because, like, we find an answer inside, what is, oh well, I wanted you to check first if it's really the right niche for you. Maybe you never really wanted to work in this job, right? A lot of people come to you and say, I want to create something more and bigger, and maybe shifting careers. And this is for a reason why they come to you, because there was such a turning point inside. And it took me away from the blaming towards the, that's why. And it took some time that I got back into the, oh yes, I am refocusing on what I really want, instead of running away from the fear who's chasing me. Does it make sense?
Yeah. So the lesson that I learned from what you say is that you move from disempowerment to empowerment when you reconnected with yourself, with your vision, when you really understood that there is something that you cannot do anything against, and then you have to focus on what's in your power to do. But there must be a bigger why. And there is a lesson in everything that happens to us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And understanding the why is so satisfying. It's like, it's not that, right? We are, let's be honest, for us driven women and men, it's so easy for us to put things on ourselves because we are not moving forward. It's because we're not doing the wrong thing, and like it's always us who is who we are blaming. It's very easy for us. But when we understand the how it puts, like, where it's placed in our life, right, looking back on what I did there in Egypt, why I went to move to Egypt, now I can see that I needed to go through this to really know what I need, take a stand for myself, and I'm starting to create my peace business in Egypt, because I was hurting myself so much and putting myself second so strongly that at a certain point I really flipped it all around, but I needed this pain point.
Okay. And tell me, Christina, if I were, like here in Italy, like feeling isolated because I'm in lockdown, I'm in one of the regions that are in lockdown, so I cannot go out of my home. And so there is not much I can do other than trying to connect on Zoom, or maybe I'm waiting for other people that call me, and I really feel isolated and lonely. How can I positively react to that? This is the first question, and the second question is, if I know that there is somebody that is feeling lonely, what can I do as a courageous move?
I love this compassion and the thinking that you do of another person, if it would be, right, one of the family members or stuff like that. Yeah. So starting with the first question, right, I feel disconnected and I want to connect right now in this online world where it's just more access. A negative example is I have people reaching out to me and saying, hey, I would love to be, like, on Facebook, hey, I would love to be friend with you. And I tell them, well, sorry, but I'm mostly, offering my services here on Facebook, and I'm not searching for a friend. You're certainly a great person, but there are groups, Facebook groups, who are like where the people are really searching for friends. Like, this kind of approach makes, like, and so I'm telling the people no, and I have a lot of people who react with a no in a very hurted or angry way. But let's be honest, right? So I mean, saying, hey, you don't know me, but I wanna connect with you, it's not so interesting. What is interesting is when you would write a message and say, and you connect through a passion, you connect through a common theme, right? I mean, this is the practical part right now. Everybody knows there are awesome Facebook groups out there, but not everybody loves to send hearts to people and say, hey, I'm out here, right? But even in a Facebook group, you can connect through a certain passion that you have. Like, your passion is, I just saw a post about a person saying, expats in Berlin, hey, I'm so into weightlifting and now the gyms are all closing. Can somebody support me here? And somebody says, hey, I'm a sport guy. I really would love to find you some opportunities, right? But the first step to this, and here's where the coaching is starting, is to really know what you need and what makes you happy. And I don't know about you, Angela, but I had times in my life where I really did not know, like, I forgot what I love. right? And this takes a bit deeper dive to say, okay, like, let's be honest, who is Christina, right? Who is Christina? What did she like? And a very helpful question for me was from a coach I listened to, what did you laugh when you were 6 years old? And that's not true. Like, we are still this person. 6 years old person is one of your base characters.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a nice opening up question, to know what you need, right? And then you have two more steps. What I can also go deeper into is listen to your inner voice. And this voice will tell you when you are, let's say, in a Facebook group with 100 people, you actually have a really good guide inside of you to know which 10 people of the 100 people are your top, your top people. And this takes also the training. And the last step is to take inspired actions. Yeah. Means to connect to them, like to write them, right? And to connect through the passion.
Thank you, Christine. Yeah,
you're welcome.
Yeah, I think the tips are, it's in a way it's difficult, in the other way it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so know yourself is the first thing, and then make a move. And if I were to help somebody that I know is isolated, is feeling isolated, what could I do or should I do in a way that is not offensive, you know, or douchey or pushy also?
I love that. I love that. And so the most what I hear from my clients or the people who are approaching me is that they are not actually stuck in the process of connecting, like in the third step. They are stuck in the first step. Means they are coming worthiness question up. A person who is like a long time accepted that it's okay to work hard, but when they come home, they feel empty. Or even when you're now in home office, you are not talking to a lot of people during your work, and then you finish your call and you're still alone at home, right?
Yeah.
And I really what I heard is the first step is so important, is to reconnect back to you, and to say, okay, okay, you are not worthy less, like worthless, because nobody sees what your worth is. What I mean by this is it's a self-confident training that you need to get back to. Or when you, okay, if you would speak to this person, right? Speak into what you know this person is great in. And have, if possible, how can I say, a soul-based conversation. Means to a conversation where you get what is important for this person. You somehow need to you are invited to, or you invite the person to just check back again with what is important for him or her, and why this person is here in this work, in this place, in this country at the first place, and getting back to the center. It also maybe easily said, but it depends how close you are to this person. It can really make a difference to touch a point what is deeper than the emptiness. Does it make sense, Angela?
Yes, thank you. So again, I'm wrapping up, up all the lessons, and the lessons here is, correct me if I'm wrong. So whoever seeks or feels the need or sees an opportunity, they make the first move, knowing what they want, what's the difference they can make for the other person or for yourself, because you are the most important person in the world. Okay. So, Christina, I would love to continue talking to you, but I know that it's late now, and but you shared very, very interesting and important tips, and your wisdom, I would say, more than tips. So how can people connect with you if somebody who's hearing us wants to know more about what you do and about how you can help them?
Sure. So I'm opening up my calendar for private talks.
Mm-hmm.
Means that if you who's listening right now say, okay, I would love to connect to more people like these. I would love to, just use this time maybe of more freedom, of more time to reconnect to yourself again. Let's talk. Let's get on the call. And what we are doing is that you're grabbing the link below, my calendar link, choose a time and date according to your time zone. And we're going through this free step, know what you need, listen to your inner voice, and take inspired actions so that you're going out anyway with a game plan about how you can move on in your personal life. And we can also speak about how we both can work together if you would love to join the Peace Maker program.
Yeah, and I really encourage you to take advantage of this offer and of the warm heart of Christina.
Thank you, Angela. You are amazing.
Okay. So, Christina, thank you for your time, and it was so valuable. I'm sure that everybody who's listening is really appreciating your help and your wisdom, and see you in our business thing. Okay.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate.
Sure. So, bye everyone, and tschüss.
Tschüss.
Ciao.